Hello everyone, and welcome to today's video where we continue our conversation on competency. We began this journey and we're nearing the end, literally the end of this journey, and it is no wonder that we choose to focus our last week on competency, because technically there is an extent to which your capacity to grow, your capacity to do things correctly affects everything about who you are as a leader. Like Ralph started sharing in the video on Monday, it is very, very important as leaders for us to not only know the calling, the thing to which God is asking us to devote our lives and to devote our attention. It is just as important to be able to do it well, because I don't know who said it, but somebody has said that whatever is worth doing is worth doing well, and that could not apply more to leaders. As a matter of fact, you heard some of the experiences and the examples that Ralph shared about how very often, very often, a leader's position gets abused, gets usurped in a way that does not reflect what is expected of that particular position. And so competencies for every leader is very, very important. Thinking and acting competencies basically is what we can summarize or what we can focus on. You know, the thing about competency is that depending on who you are and what your assignment is and where you are in your journey of living out that assignment, you would need to develop different competencies in different areas. And it is clearly, it is important, therefore, for us to be able to, while spending time one-on-one with you and in our small discussion groups talking about more specific issues, specific competency issues, the general framework of growing our competencies is what we are going to be devoting this particular video to. And therefore, I'm talking about the first competency that a leader must have is the ability to face reality. You know, there is a very, very sad reality today, and it is some leaders are incapable of functioning in the respective places to which they have been put and the assignments that they have received, but everybody can see it except them, the leader. That is a very problematic thing, because there is nothing more frustrating for followers or community members than somebody who has a problem but cannot see it. And so facing reality becomes just as important a competency as thinking and acting as a leader. Can you do a candid reality check of your life today? What is it that you have devoted yourself to? Are you a teacher by profession, for example? If you are given a lesson to teach today, the same lesson that you taught yesterday, how different would it be from the way it was handled then? There is nothing more frustrating for a leader. In fact, you stagnate and begin to decline when you fail to grow in your capacity as a leader to do some of the things that Ralph mentioned on Monday. I'm talking here about creativity and innovation. Our ability to create and to remake or to rethink the ways in which we do different things is very crucial to our leadership as we grow and as we lead in different circles. This applies to the president of that organization, the bigger top leader in any situation, as it does to the mother at home who is working with her children, or to the girl who is learning how to braid hair, for example, or to make new clothes. If hair braiding, for example, is something that you have been doing, have you found new ways of doing that particular style, or are you stuck with the same way that it was done yesterday? There is a place for creativity in competency, which is basically us remaking ourselves. If you have an opportunity to teach a lesson today that you taught yesterday, and it is not better today than it was yesterday, it's a signal that you are not growing in your competencies. And so your ability to face your reality, how good are you at what you have been called to do? How good are you at doing these things that you are supposed to do? Do you take offense when people come to share an honest evaluation with you, or are you open, Facing reality, ladies and gentlemen, is very, very important for you as a leader, even as we discuss the subject of competencies. Secondly, thinking and acting. This is something that Ralph already mentioned in the previous video. But how important is it to think and act as a leader? Many times there are leaders who have fallen into routine. You wake up, it's Monday, you dress up, you go to work, you sit at your desk, you do this, you go back home, you sleep, you get up the next day, you do the same thing. It has become such routine that you no longer think about it. It's almost as if you are on autopilot. You are just, there is something being pushing your buttons around, and you are just living. You're just going from one thing to the next to the next. Our ability to think is crucial, and we emphasize not only your ability to close your eyes and think about the future, but the healthy leader is one who can think backwards. What does that mean? The ability to think backwards is the ability to project yourself into where you want to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now as a leader. Capture that picture. See very clearly, what does it look like? What are you doing? What is the impact of what you are doing? What are the differences in what you are doing in that near or distant future from what you are currently doing right now? So a leader who can think healthily is one who literally travels in time to sometime in the future, imagines, paints a clear picture of what the solution is, or what that life, that goal that they want to attain is. Now, thinking backwards means you now start backpedaling from that place, that goal which you have clearly painted, that goal which you have clearly defined, and you ask yourself the question, what is it going to take to achieve this goal? And then you identify the needs, the things that you are going to need in order to achieve that goal. And finally, you come up with a plan. You know the goal, you know what you're going to need, and now you have a plan for how you are going to get there. That is the process of thinking. You can see that it's more than just closing your eyes and wishing for something to come to pass. There are so many of us with so many dreams as leaders. There are so many of us with so many aspirations as leaders, but these do not go anywhere because we only end up dreaming. No, a healthy leader thinks backward, and it is the process of thinking backward that transforms a dream into a goal and gives it a plan that is going to bring the leader one step closer to the achievement of that goal with each passing day. That is what thinking backwards means. And so as a leader today, do you have a particular goal? Do you have a particular place where you want to be? Do you have desires or just aspirations and things that you want to see happen in your life? Have you identified, perhaps in the past few weeks as we have engaged on this journey, have you identified areas of your life and your leadership in which you need to grow? That's already a good starting point. Now you can think backwards from there and come up with a plan. And we are going to definitely be showing you more practically how that is done. Thinking, that's what thinking backwards is. And now, acting, a leader must be able to act forwards. Do you see what I mean? So imagine that you're looking at a page, right? In English, we write from left to right. But in thinking, you think from right to left, if we were to draw. So the goal will be here, and then your plan will be here. So you have to get to the goal first in your mind, in your thoughts, as you think creatively through these things, and then you travel back, you establish a plan, and with your plan, you now act forward. So your plan is taking you from where you currently are to where you want to be. This can be in anything, any area of your life. That is a competency skill that healthy leaders must be able to adopt. So if you think effectively, you will be able to act efficiently. Those are just given. When you have given sufficient thought to something, it becomes doable. You begin to break down some of the challenges that you see on your way, and you make them into smaller pieces that are easily conquered. They are more conquerable pieces that become doable, and that's the process of acting forwards. The last thing about your competencies as a leader is your capacity to evaluate your progress. You know, many times in your thought processes, you might identify something and think this thing is going to take me one step closer to where I want to go. But maybe when you come to start acting on it, you realize that instead of taking you one step closer to where you want to go, it's actually taking you one step backwards. It would be stupid, it would be very, very foolish, as a matter of fact, for any leader to keep doing something which is not bringing about the desired result. And so evaluation is what gives it gives a rationale to your actions as a leader. Why did you do what you did? What were the results that you found, that you got? Were those results the results that you were expecting? If no, were they better or were they worse? If they were better, then good job, you can keep doing that. It has the capacity to not only take you to your goal, but to exceed your expectation. But if they were not up to what you expected, you need to change something. You know, somebody has defined stupidity as doing the same thing always and expecting different results. If you're a leader, are there places in your leadership today that you're frustrated about? If you keep doing the things that you are doing the way you've always done them, I'm sorry to say, nothing is ever going to change. And so as we continue our discussion on growing our competencies, on identifying the places where we need to grow and that ongoing learning process, it becomes very, very critical for you as a leader to face your reality. If you don't see yourself first, if you don't embrace that reality first, nobody is ever going to be able to draw your attention to it, and you're never going to grow in your competence, in your confidence level, which is very directly related to your growth of competencies. That sounds all very abstract, I know, but we are going to be coming back in the next video and we will be sharing with you practically how we have used this designing process. So what I just described to you right there is designing your competency growth, designing your growth as a leader. How does it practically work? It's a question that you might be asking. That's something that we are going to be returning to. But just before I go, please remember the first competency that you must cultivate as a leader: facing reality. Believe it or not many people have the ability to confront their reality. And like it has been said, if you cannot confront it, you cannot overcome it. You face your reality, you think carefully about it. How can I fix this situation? You paint a goal. When you have a goal, you backpedal a little bit, you identify what are the elements that I'm going to need to get to that goal, and then how do I put these elements together to get to that goal. That's the process of thinking backwards. And then when you have a plan, you start acting on your plan, you act forward. And while acting, trying to implement that plan, remember, it came from you, so it is not set in stone. You must be able to evaluate it, to stop yourself 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, 2 weeks into your plan and figure out, is it working? Is it not working? Why or why not? What can I adjust? What can I do differently? In the next video, we will show you practically how this is done. Come back later.